Hi, Signe Miranda here from the Creative Leaders. With artists, authors, and entrepreneurs, I'm interviewing Curtis Labelle, who is the executive director and owner of Labelle Stage Productions. Welcome, Curtis.
Hello, hello. How are you, Signa?
Fantastic. It's great to have you on the show.
This is fantastic. I'm excited to be here. This is my first Skype interview, so it's quite fun for me.
Cool. Well, first I'd like to ask you what inspired you to become a musician and songwriter?
Well, you know what? I'm just going to say the first thing that popped into my head. I was around 4 or 5 years old whenever I first asked my parents if I wanted to play the piano because we were sitting at the dinner table and we were eating, and I had a thought at that young age: do I want to play sports or do I want to do music? And so I had asked to be put into music, and I kind of really just went from there. And when it came to songwriting, I was around. It wasn't too much longer after that age. I was around 7, 8, 9 in that time frame, where I started playing the piano and I was creating something which I didn't know then what key I was in. I was playing something in A minor, which happens to be the most common chord and the most common key that songwriters tend to gravitate towards, to that in the key of C, because it's all white keys. It's easy. Anybody can do it. See, anybody can do it. Anybody can play music, absolutely, no matter what it is. At any rate, so then it was there that my parents thought to myself, came down and said, "What are you playing?" And I said, "I'm nothing. I'm just making it up." And so it really did hit from there, and from there on out, kind of the rest is history. And I've been creating music and writing songs and developing orchestral pieces ever since.
Awesome. And how did that transition into teaching music and songwriting?
Well, now you see, here's where it came to the end of reality in the real world and the business side of things, and becoming responsible as I grew up. I always had, as a musician or as an artist, let's say, no matter if you're an actor, a painter, any type of performer in the artist category of job, I guess you could say, we all have to have 2 other jobs or 5 other jobs in order to survive. So, myself growing up, I would have a job, Walmart. I never did work at McDonald's, though. I had Tim Hortons, all those little odd end jobs in order to survive. And it came into where I ended up having a couple of people ask me, because I was doing pretty well in music as I got older, around the age of 17, 16, 17, 18. I had advanced and progressed quite quickly in music. Um, and so I was asked if I would be able to teach. And so it went from there. It escalated and it snowballed effect, and then I had more students, and then I ended up making decent money at it. I wasn't charging very much at lessons when I first started, and because I had a moral thing about lessons and music. I always thought to myself, students should be paying me, because I should be paying students simply because I'm it's given me the opportunity to learn more about myself and how I can, because going from one age to the next in working group has taught me more than anything. And so it was really hard to make teaching a separate values of making a living off of it, which I do now 100% and have been for many years. And at the same time, knowing when not to charge and to offer music and still keep the value of music going, because it's free. Music is free. It's a gift. And so teaching is something that I believe that needs to be given for free, even though we have to charge a monetary value, because we have to live, we have to survive.
Yes. And when did you
I
start
went
your...
off on a little bit of a thing there on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right. That's what this is all about, learning what it is that you've learned about music and sharing that knowledge with other people. And
Right, I got into teaching quite early.
yes. And when did you start your musical theater production company, Labelle Stage Productions? And how did that come about?
Well, you see, that was the next step. I got really excited about teaching, and I just love what I do. And I always worked with theater companies and things like that. And so I then started out by doing small little projects by myself and producing stuff with my own money. And then on and doing small stuff, little tiny cabaret shows, that sort of thing. And then it just went from there. Sorry, the garbage truck is going by. uh, then from there, we went, I say we, as in the people that I ended up working with and helping me on this, because running a production company and a business is not a one-person thing. It got bigger. And then we ended up doing magic shows and bigger productions, bigger theater productions. We've been doing a concert of a tribute to Liberace. We have another show coming up, Kings of Vegas. So it's just it's an ongoing thing. So that was about, I don't know, 7-8 years ago now. So about 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been doing a lot of touring around Alberta with your production company. What's that been like?
Different.
Okay. Can you share a little bit with us about what kind of places you've
I
been
feel
playing?
like I'm giving long answers. I'll make this one short so that it doesn't sound like I'm boring the people watching.
We're
Uh,
interested. That's why I'm asking these questions.
sorry, I had an itch. I had an itch. I had an itch. Um, can you repeat the question?
What's it like been? What was it
Oh,
like touring with your
touring,
company?
touring. Well, first of all, the first thing I have to say that if you decide to take something on tour, it's quite expensive. Because now you're getting into so many other costs, and that could be the one thing that takes you down touring. Uh, Not only is the logistics there that people can get, it's organizing people, it's transportation, it's getting a large group. We have about 15 to 20 people that go with us on one show. Whenever we go, we have the band, we have the rest of the team that's behind the scenes, we have the rest of the performers on the stage, our technician, Pearl, and then of course they're paid at quite a decent rate, and then there's just venue costs, and then there's production costs, of course, which is off the top already. And then the traveling costs. Who knows what? We can't go far. We haven't been able to go far at touring with the show because we can't afford it. It's simply that. If we haven't went to Calgary yet. We've just done Central and Northern Alberta. We can't go to Calgary. In fact, we're going down to Forest. We're going east here in a couple months. We're going 2 shows, and then we're going. Well, Red Deer is next month, and then we're going down east. Down east, just east towards Forestburg and Castor, but we haven't gone south because the second we go south now it truthfully is gas. I mean, we are not Bon Jovi on tour here. We don't have, but I have to say, that all aside, it's more fun than staying in one place and doing only one show.
Awesome.
Going on tour is fun. Just want to say that for the record.
So, about like the fun of music, what is one of your favorite moments in music?
Oh my God, performing! Oh, okay. There's so many. There's so many fun moments in music. There's just so many fun moments. I always find my. Let me see. Okay, so I always find myself saying, laughing at musical comedy. Like when you're working with another professional and they're like, I'm laughing right now. When they're playing something and they're rehearsing and they make a legitimate mistake, it can be really funny. I'm sure we've all experienced that as professional musicians, or even non-professional musicians, amateurs, semi-professionals. Musical comedy is hilarious to me. Other moments, entertaining, performing on stage. Personally, for me, as myself as Liberace, when we go on tour. When I go on stage and I'm in these costumes and I'm interacting with the audience as this character, there's nothing more exhilarating. I'm telling you, it is absolutely dynamite performing, and especially as somebody else. Uh, Seeing the people's reaction, the audience's reaction, that's a that's a heart fun. There's so many different levels of fun, you see. There's different areas of fun in your body, different tingly feelings, right? When you get a standing ovation, that's an overall exhilarating feeling. Whenever you are seeing the audience laugh and giggle, that's a heartwarm feeling. That's not you know what I mean? There's different for me anyway. I could make a book on categorized things of feelings of fun when it comes to music to perform. When you get together with family, at Christmas time, birthday parties, and somebody who's not the best piano player in the family, but everybody loves the fact that that is the one family member that can play the piano, and their name happens to be Johnny, and they're 10 years old, and they sit down at the piano, and they've got 3 fingers going in the right hand and one here, and then, oh, little Susie comes by because she's a friend of Johnny. She happens to play the guitar, and she only knows one string. So, uh, music is fun for sure in so many different ways. Everybody needs to experience it, and that's something that I'm excited for camp.
Awesome. And one of the things you were talking about was acting and doing roles where you're impersonating other songwriters. And what do you learn from that experience that you can bring into your own performances of your original songs?
That's a great question. Um, for me, as a song, for me as a songwriter, and then for me to go on stage as an actor at the same time, and to play somebody else, is I actually haven't really thought about that. I remember doing a lot of homework and research when we started doing this project 3 years ago. And I remember at 3 in the morning after watching the movie Behind the Candelabra, and I had said to myself, well, dang nabbit, I can do this. Quite ambitious, I thought, but I really did believe that I could do that. Because I was in a place where I'm like, I got to do something. I'm going to do this. And here we are 3 years later. We've been doing it, and it's been really going well. But how do I feel when I'm on stage? I'm
And how do you
definitely
bring that into your own music?
I well, first of all, let's just say that, okay, I guess I can only, because I haven't really thought too much on that whenever, like literally, the only thing I can answer that when it comes to music, as I play, I definitely have my form and style of music when I play the piano for the show. But I incorporate, of course, Liberace's style of performance and showmanship, and his flamboyancy and his energy and all that. And I'm already a high packed person, so when it comes to playing the music, I'm creating. I would have to say that a Liberace show, whenever I'm playing, not with the orchestra, I'm gonna have to say every show is different, and I'm gonna say 85 to 90% of the parts that I play solo are improvised on the spot and created right there in front of the audience. Nobody in the orchestra knows what I'm going to do. Nobody. There are checkpoints that I remember so that they know where I am in the set. But in between those checkpoints of 5 and 6 minutes of just me playing the piano, it's my showmanship of Curtis and Liberace, and at the same time I'm creating and making it something that's so. It's him coming through me because the man was absolutely amazing. I really do believe that he's channeling through me because I have played some of the most amazing stuff since I've done the show, and it blows my mind. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? Really? I did that? And I honestly believe that he's been like, wonderful, So, yeah, I hope that answered the question because I really
Yeah,
have never experienced or thought of that. I'll have to next time.
absolutely. And the next thing I wanted to ask you is, you've done music as a performer, as a songwriter, as a teacher, and from behind the scenes leading productions. And from viewing music from all of those different perspectives, how has that changed your view of music from starting out as a performer?
I think the biggest thing, I'll say the first thing that comes to my mind again, and I support it. Sometimes I don't support the first thing that comes to my mind, but I would have to say respect and honorability and homage. Those three things I think are extremely important to music, and because you are going to work when you progress in this life of music and in the art world of music, I would have to say from my experience, and you are going to work with so many different types of people, from young adolescent individuals that are really smart to and really intelligent musically that play rock music, to those that are really to nowadays to children and to adults that I teach are um, have learning disabilities and growing um, disciplines. Um, on the other side, and then working with professionals on stage in a band, all that. There's many different forms of styles of music, and you're going to reach many different attitudes and everything. And so, therefore, you need to have gratitude of what music is, and be grateful that you can do it. I think that's the first and foremost thing, and be thankful. And you need to always give homage to music and give it respect. So if you are asked to play something, don't have an attitude, or choose not to have an attitude to go with it. Let music. I would have to say, you are just a chat. It's being through you. You're just a vessel of music, and you have no. Or I don't want to say. I don't want to tell that you cannot do that. Choose to respect it. That's just it. Choose to respect music. Pay homage to it. Every single give responsibility to it. If you're going to be playing something from somebody, tell people who it was by. Go for it. Buy music. Don't rip it off somebody. Don't people. It's something. It deserves it to be purchased as a monetary value. And what was it? Homage, respect, and gratitude. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Love music.
And in light of your experience for music and sharing it with people through your teaching, you're going to be a facilitator at my Songwriters Camp this summer to help people get unstuck with their songwriting and to help them communicate with their creative selves. So what is it that you'll be sharing with people there, and what will they get out of that?
I think the biggest thing is I'll be sharing me. I think in that sense, and what I radiate as music. Yes. Then there's the technique, the knowledge, the book smarts, the education, and all that. That's going to be taught in a not in such a loose way that it's not even going to be a forefront, and you're not even going to realize you're doing it, especially from me. But to open up and to get through those blocks and to move into the next step, if you work with me and if we collaborate together and we enjoy music and have fun doing it, and that's the thing. I think the biggest thing that you'll get is me and my personality. Having working with acting and voice and loosening up and all of that stage front stuff, and being open with what's happening in your body as your instrument, is something that really does clear the mind, and it allows you to open up new channels and just go. And improvisation as a songwriter is important. I think every songwriter needs to take an improvisation class, where even if it's your 10 minutes and you're loosening up and you're not thinking, it's just the first thing that comes to your head, and you're always saying yes, you're never saying no. Therefore, you cannot, or choose to follow those rules in the same thing as your song creation process if you come to a block. So I think the funness, the creativity that I bring with as a theatrical person, and entertainer, and then of course the knowledge of how do you kind of put that together. Yeah, okay, we get all that, or we've created something extremely amazing in the process of acting, or we like stepped out of a shell and we're like, oh my god, I got this crazy idea, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to put it down, or what chords to go with it, or what can I do with this? Then we can go, okay, this works with this. What do you like? And then that person is going, oh, I just won $1 million. And they stepped outside their shell too, right? I think that's one of the big things too, is for them to. For me as a songwriter, when I get blocked, and a perfect example was last night. Here I am writing a song. I'm starting this new concept idea, and I did about 3 minutes of music, and I got to a point, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So I had to walk away, right? I had to step. That was and metaphorically speaking, my desk was my little shell, so I stepped outside of it, because I am a more experienced musician and songwriter, so therefore I wasn't in a specific shell of I'm blocked in life and I can't get through because I have a million bills to pay and parking tickets up my butt. um, uh, it's
So
gonna
you'll
be
help
fun.
people.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
You'll help people get unstuck with their songwriting and know how to craft a song and how to display that song and share it with other people.
Well, that's the thing, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is sharing with the people. Oh, it's all big. Like every time I say something else, I keep thinking, oh, this is big, this is big. No, no, no. Everything is a big step, and everything is one step closer to the personal growth of you being a music or of them being a musician.
Yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. I think that I will be able to work with them in the process of how to create the song and get them through it technically. At the same time, help them mentally get through it by working with them on acting skills and little improv things and vocal things and opening up everything inside them.
Yeah, I think there's so much crossover, and even people who don't do music as a profession and want to explore it to help other aspects of their life. That's one thing I get really excited about because sometimes entrepreneurs want to get more creative and they explore songwriting or acting or public speaking, and that benefits every aspect of their life because when you're being creative, then you can lead a more creative life in every aspect.
Oh, absolutely. You're stimulated, I find. I think that if you are, for music, for me anyway, I mean, the music is such a huge part of the mind and the brain, and it's its own little fuel source, I believe, for me anyway. So I'm definitely, when I'm creative at home or when I'm creative at work or in the theater or wherever I am, sitting on a bus stop or whatever I am, park bench, I then am creative in the rest of my day when I have to do the things I don't want to do
Yeah.
and that I have to do, right?
Awesome.
It gives me more energy. It allows me to it stimulates me to stay focused.
Awesome. So the last thing I want to ask you is how can people get in touch with you and find out more about you, your website address, that sort of thing?
You can reach Curtis Labelle at curtislabelle.com. That's CurtisLabelle.com. And the production company is labellestageproductions.com. www.labellestageproductions.com.
Awesome. And I'll put the link with this video as well. Thank you so much for doing this interview, Curtis, and have a fantastic day.
I will. Thank you so much, Signe.
Thanks. Bye, Curtis.